Real Madrid 3, Manchester City 2, an implosion at the death from Pep Guardiola's men again. Another embarrassing night in the Champions League. 3 minutes to go. They were winning 2-1 at full time. Jude Bellingham dunks on Pep Guardiola's men. Hit the like button. Make sure you are subscribing. Wow, we will.
I've got nothing left. I've got nothing left.
Welcome back to the Football Terrace. It's the Full Fan Highlight Show. A big shout out to Stocks FC, the sponsors of tonight's show, the best fantasy platform game around. And by the way, I've made it. Look at this. Look, I'm sorry about the mistake. I didn't update the score line. There we go. I'm sorry. I am sorry for that. But excuse me. Wow. What an ending to a terrific, a massive, entertaining game full of gaffes like I've never, ever seen before. Another late capitulation for Manchester City. It has happened so many times this campaign. A night that actually saw Real Madrid be quite wasteful as well. I was sitting there thinking Ancelotti's going to be really angry when he gets his players back in, especially his front line, because they missed. Mbappe should have scored early in the game. Mendy should have scored or squared it to Mbappe. Bellingham, when they went to 1-1, should have put the ball away. Bellingham's header should have been better. There were some really good opportunities that they wasted, but up stepped Manchester City. And look, there is a problem at that football club. I've been talking about this since October, and it doesn't want to get the traction that it deserves as a footballing conversation. It's not about my opinion, it's the conversation. Pep Guardiola cannot make this City team competitive. And yes, they were leading 2-1. Oh, Terry, they were competitive. It was 2-1. City's opening goal was an absolute thing of beauty. I'll take nothing away from it. Guardiola was amazing. The dink over the top from Grealish, the hold-up play and the layoff by Guardiola, and the finish by Erling Haaland was excellent. They then controlled the game for a little bit after that as Real Madrid sat in. But as soon as Real Madrid pressed, as soon as they attacked, every single time, City looked all at sea. They were better when they had Akanji and Stones in those middle areas, which is another debate and question today, because we were told they tried everything and they were the much better team. But the injuries to Akanji, Rico Lewis coming on, it really weakened them. There's no doubt about it. But still, that lack of competitiveness, the inability to control the game, as we've seen them do on many, many other occasions. Lots of questions have to. I know they're playing Real Madrid with the best, one of the best, if not the best attack in the world. But Madrid themselves were awful in the group stages. Madrid fans want Carlo sacked. They're not a formidable team. They're not a side that will hold possession and blow you away. Massive, massive question marks. Again, there's no doubt about that. But as ever, look, I want your thoughts. I want your feelings. I want your opinions on this in the comments section below. Get smashing the like button for us too. Let's get this up to at least 1,000 likes whilst we are live on the air. I want to go to a few of your comments straight away. City fans, stop crying your hearts out. Yeah, that kind of came back to bite them in the backsides a little bit, didn't it? That sign. I wonder if Jamie Carragher's going to call them out and say, how dare you banter a club that has 15 Champions Leagues to your one? Am I doing that right? Is that how it works? There's a hierarchy to this, yeah? Yeah, crazy decision. How was that a pen? It looked outside the box. That was a penalty on Phil Foden. We're going to break the whole game down in a minute. 100% that was a penalty. No doubt about it whatsoever. He's late. His knee hits Foden's. Foden was on the line. His foot was planted on the line. That was 100% a penalty. No doubt about it. Madrid aren't going away. They are from the Champions League. I don't know what that means. Aren't going away. They are from the Champions League. Sorry, I get what you mean. Yeah, at the Bernabeu, by the way, with the atmosphere there, this City team is going to concede 4 or 5 goals. They're going to concede 4 or 5 goals. They might score a couple because Madrid are not the most secure at the back, but they are going to get absolutely pelted. It's going to be an onslaught. Montoya knows nothing, bruv. It's going to be a bit of a beatdown, in my personal opinion. It really, really is going to be a beatdown for them. I thought they might, again, I predicted that they would concede 4 or 5 tonight. Madrid, if they were actually clinical, would have done that to them. They just bottled the chances, really, and they were really poor in that regard. But yeah, this City team is washed. And that's me being fair. They're washed. They really are washed. They're just not very good anymore. And the fall off, Rodri's injury has kind of papered over those cracks in terms of the conversation. There's just so many players who have been exposed this year for one reason or another. It's just the truth. The fact they lost after the banter football gods. Well, I just feel I know why they did it, because they're bigging up their boy. But with the run of form they've been on, City, maybe they should have been a little bit more humble tonight. Sack Pep, sack him, too loyal to players. Sack Pep, sack him, too loyal to players, killed us. I want you to break that down, Jeremy. I want you to break it down as to why you want him sacked. I get what you mean by too loyal to players. I want names. I want to understand that in more detail, because I think sacking Pep at this point is premature, but I want to get your opinion on that, please. I see a little silhouette of a man. Mamouche, will you do the fandango? They thought they would save them. I don't know what that says. Finished club. Again, I'll let you have your banter. I wouldn't say City are finished at this point, but I think this season for them certainly looks that way. It's why I said yesterday that I think it's a little crazy that, not crazy, they've been very lucky with the FA Cup draws. Not crazy because nobody has sort of done it to them, but it's just the way the cookie has sort of crumbled in that regard. So I'm just bookmarking when we started the super chats because I want you guys to better go back and look at the ones that you put in. Let's have a look at some of your comments that are coming through here. There we go. Right. Wow. If that was a draw, they wouldn't. Wow. If it was a draw, wouldn't say that. Yeah, I would. I would have done. So let's break the game down. Let's break the game down and use your comment as a marker to start it. So I felt in the opening 15 minutes of this match, City had too high a line. They weren't pressing and closing the ball down quick enough. And there was 3 opportunities. One was nearly a penalty, but it was marginally offside. Then there was this fantastic outside of the foot pass from Vinicius to play in Mbappe. I think he should be scoring, but a decent save from Edison. They then had a really good bit of build-up play. The ball ends up with Mendy. He should either bury it first time and not take a touch or square it to Mbappe. Could have been 2-3-0 in the opening 13 minutes. And this is all simply because City were not compact enough and their line was too high. Then, of course, Madrid sort of sit back a little bit because you can't play with that intensity for the whole first half. You'll kill yourselves physically. Then City started to get hold of the ball and play with it a little more. They were sitting a little bit deeper as well. They were making it harder for Real Madrid to run in behind. And then City's goal, as I mentioned at the top of the show, City's goal was brilliant. Guardiola, wonderful touch and turn. He plays a ball into Haaland, which completely cuts Real Madrid open. Haaland's first touch wasn't particularly great, but he's able to hold it up well, shield the ball, and then plays it into Jack Grealish, who just delays the play. Guardiola makes an excellent sort of inverted run, breaks the offside trap, a wonderful ball over the top from Jack Grealish, and then you get the moment of brilliance. A nice little bit of hold-up play from the left back, by the way, Guardiola, gets it into Haaland, bang, 48th goal in 49 games. And then I felt after that point, City controlled the ball well. They sat in a really, I would consider it a mid-block. A mid-block. Nice and compact, hard to break down, no real room for them to run in behind, and they moved the ball brilliantly from about the 15th, 16th minute, or when did the goal go in? It might have been a little bit later than that, 19th minute. Until about the 40th minute of the game, City just controlled it. They bossed it. They absolutely bossed it from that point. Then the second half begins. And again, Real Madrid come out on the front foot. But City are doing okay. But then they don't maintain Manchester City, what they did for that large chunk of the first half. And I understand Foden come on. Foden looked pretty good, to be fair, and Grealish went off was bad. I get that Akanji came off, as an example, when he was kind of inverting from that left-back position into the midfield role at the start of the game. But Rico Lewis was being cooked. But it didn't help Rico Lewis because they weren't as compact. Their line was higher. And then Real Madrid are opening them up again and again and again. And there was chances. There was chances. A good cross in. Bellingham should be getting that header on target. Then Ceballos makes a mistake. And stupidly, Bernardo Silva goes to ground too early. Gives away the free kick. And the first goal from Real Madrid actually was a little fortuitous. Poor free kick. A decent cross in. Mbappe absolutely mishits it. And it ends up very, very slowly dropping in. Then Madrid take over the game again. And Bellingham is played in a wonderful ball from the left-hand side to the right. Rico Lewis is sleeping. But again, it's the high line and the poor play, the lack of confidence on the ball from Manchester City that's causing all of these problems. But they don't capitalize on it. They don't capitalize on this, Real Madrid. Then they miss another 2 or 3 opportunities and chances. Then Phil Foden brilliantly wins a penalty. Stonewaller. Haaland's clinical. Puts it away. He's dunked on Mbappe's head by scoring 2 to his 1. All City now have to do is that mid-block again, maybe even slightly lower, stay compact, hard to break down. They didn't do it. You could almost see the nerves creep in the nearer to 90 minutes it got. No confidence, no togetherness, and then individual mistakes. Decent play by Real Madrid for the equalizer, but the ball shot at Ederson, and I don't really know what he was doing. I'd have to see the replay again, but it was like he just chests it out. And then the ex-City players there, Diaz, bang, bottom corner, it's 2-2. And you think, right, you've blown it. You've blown it, City. But you've literally got a few minutes to get through. Only 3 minutes of time added on. Get through it. A poor pass from Kovacic, absolutely asleep. A bad touch from Rico Lewis. Vinicius Jr. misses it. And Jude Bellingham, who I thought had a very average game by his standards tonight, he smells that danger. He's bursting through on goal. And you just saw what was coming. Ball's played in. Bellingham buries it. City's implosion and embarrassment is complete. And they are more than likely to go out now. The FA Cup is all they've got remaining for the remainder of the season. But tonight was an embarrassment for them. There is no doubt about it. And not because it's embarrassing to lose to Real Madrid, but embarrassing because they demonstrated how they can play, how they can still control games. But this team lacks the competitiveness. It lacks the mentality, which is crazy to say because of how brilliant they've been for the last 8 years. And I said it at the end of October. I said it throughout November. I screamed it in December. And I'm still saying it now on the 11th of February, 2025. Pep Guardiola, they've spent £175 million. Okay? They spent £175 million. Let us not forget that they have invested that money. That money has been spent. And 2 of those players and the most significant signings were on the bench tonight. Pep Guardiola has not been able this season to get Manchester City back to being competitive. It isn't good enough. It isn't good enough by any standard, let alone Pep's and the level that Manchester City have got to. So would I have said this if they'd have lost? Yes. Because the game state, the problems in the match, the lack of bottle, the lack of togetherness from this team is not good. The City players who deserve a shout out tonight, thought Guardiola very, very good. Grealish, until his injury, very good. John Stones in the sort of DM role, I thought he had a really good game. For the majority of it. I'd have to watch the replay again to see if he should have been the other side of Bellingham. Haaland with his 2 goals. Everybody else, pretty damn average. And as a collective team, 3 out of 10 maximum, even with the 2 goals. 3 out of 10 maximum. Played into Manchester City's hands, couldn't handle the pressure, blew the lead twice in a game. It's horrendous on every single level. And Manchester City fans tonight should be fuming with their coach, fuming with their team. Doesn't mean you call for him to be sacked. Doesn't mean you do anything crazy. But they should be absolutely calling this out on every single level. Now, I want to hear from you. I'm going to check where we've got some panelists backstage. I'm going to check with the rest of the panelists for a moment as well. But get the, excuse me, the likes up, please, on the stream right now. Let's get this to 1,000 likes whilst we're live on the air. Bear with me a second, my people. Bear with me 2 seconds because I don't know if KJ's working tonight. So sometimes I have to make sure I go in and grab these and do this stuff myself. And I forget to do it during the game because I'm used to KJ doing it. Because I just got to make sure one person's got the link. It's got to send it personally to Hamza. So we've got to hear from him tonight. There we go. It's been sent to him. And do any of you want to come on and have your say? Let me know and we'll get that link shared as well. How many comeback wins have City given up this season? No Walker to blame now. Pep's a fraud and nothing but a checkbook manager. He is not the GOAT. Look, I don't have him as the GOAT, DR. And I've been very clear about that. But he's up there as one of the greatest of all time, in my opinion. I don't think he's just a checkbook manager. So I will say that. However, rebuilding this team and getting it back to a high competitive level, and he can't afford, if he has 2 seasons of City being like they are now, the GOAT conversation's over. It's over for me. And we're nitpicking. We're nitpicking amongst the best of the best of the best. So, of course, you've got to nitpick. Besides the goal, City created nothing against a makeshift mid-Madrid backline of Valverde, Tchouaméni, Asensio, and Mendy. I agree. Very little. And by the way, the chance I forgot to mention, Valverde shot when it was 1-1. There were so many opportunities that Real Madrid had. It was unbelievable. I think they'll be very disappointed in themselves in terms of the finishing. When they eventually review the game, there'll be a lot of heads getting smashed together. A City might not see the Champions League next season. Wrap it up, City fans. Rico is a liability. Start Jack and Foden. Don't play 2 at the back when you are under pressure. Yeah, I think Rico Lewis has certainly been exposed as not good enough for this Manchester City team. I think when they're playing well and they're flying high and the performance levels are through the roof and they're in amazing form, I think you see the very, very best of Rico Lewis. But when they're down in the dumps, when the team isn't together, when the system isn't operating correctly, Rico Lewis has been exposed. Good squad player, perhaps. But when you're doing badly, the boy does stand out like a sore thumb. Like a sore thumb. Pep changed killers. Pep's changes killed them. Hamza is in meltdown. I bet because the thing is, a lot of City fans have been protecting Pep from any criticism. And that's my problem. That's been my problem with that. And I have had an issue with it. And a lot of people will say it's because I've got a Fergie agenda. And that is part of it. I'll always admit it. But I have seen, if we just think Premier League managers in my lifetime, I've seen Jose, when he's done bad things for long periods of time, criticized. Fergie criticized. I have seen Klopp criticized. I saw Wenger criticized. And we're talking about the best here. And I remember years before that, I've seen lots of great managers. I saw Cloughie. I was a kid watching Sky Sports and watching people rip into Cloughie shouldn't have stayed, Cloughie shouldn't have done this, Cloughie shouldn't have done that. Great managers. I've been frustrated at the lack of criticism towards this great manager for lots of mistakes that he has made. Because I've seen the other greats suffer that criticism. And I think it's disrespectful to them to not hold him to the same standard. Someone make sure Aguero's okay. I do get it, but was he there or something? Or was he streaming it? I don't know. Not to mention, Real had to play a backline of Valverde, Tchouaméni, and Mendy. It's embarrassing. And that's why I won't have, injuries. Well, if we actually go ahead of the game today, City had Rodri out, Oscar Bob. And that's it. Rudiger, Alba, Carvajal, Milito, and Vasquez. Those 5 players all out. Real Madrid had more first-team players out today than City. So Madrid's are not an excuse on any level in this conversation. And by the way, I actually thought that he got large parts of the game plan right. Putting the centre backs in there, That after the first 10 minutes, they've done really well, City, and then they abandoned it. This is bad for so many players resting against Liverpool, now ready to beat. Sorry. This is bad for so many players resting against Liverpool, now ready for real. Bad news for Arsenal, in my opinion. Yeah, look, Real Madrid, if they listen, I still don't even think Real Madrid were overly amazing. I think defensively you could still get at them. Raul Asensio is a gem. Don't listen to the trolls on the internet. He has done nothing controversial. The trolls don't even know the story. I read the story after Straight Facts earlier. I'm not going to give an opinion on it because I've got to read more. It don't sound good, Bev. Doesn't sound good, Bev. But yeah, I don't know enough about it to give an opinion right now. Look at City's next 6 to 7 fixtures. It's crazy. Let me have a look. Let me have a look. Right? Let me have a look at this now. Their last few fixtures. So they've got Newcastle at home. Jeez. Madrid away. Liverpool at home. Spurs away. Then they've got the game of Plymouth. Lucky them. After Plymouth, away to Nottingham Forest. Then they're at home to Brighton. Man, I'm looking forward to them. I'm looking forward to those games. Like, this run of form isn't as bad as when they won 1 in 13. However, I don't think the performances have been that much better. They scraped past Leyton Orient at the weekend. Let us not forget when they played Club Brugge could have scored 2 or 3 more goals in that game. Chelsea's probably the only one where you think, why did Chelsea take their foot off the gas? They should have been 2-0 up. The Ipswich game, Salford, and that's it. Where you've gone, yeah, City were good today. City were good. They've just beaten weaker teams in that time period. This next run of games, look, I think they'll win 3 or 4 of them. I do. But they could conceivably win none. Well, 1 if you include the Plymouth game. They could win just 1 maybe of the next 5 on paper. Like that, and that wouldn't be harsh when you look at the form and the quality of the teams they're playing. Really, really poor. Pep will sell Mamouche next season. He doesn't rate him. I don't know about that. What I would say is I've been a little bit disappointed with Mamouche thus far in terms of I watched him play a few games, did a bit of research on him when he was linked to City and Arsenal and a few others, and he looked really good so far. And this is why when they were spending all that money in January, I didn't necessarily think to myself, oh, straight away it's going to turn around and I didn't necessarily think straight away it's going to turn around and be an instant success, because quite a lot of Pep's best signings have taken a year or so to cement and settle into the team. So the idea they were going to sign 4 players, 2 of which none of us had heard of until they bought them. In fact, 3 of them really, because nobody was talking about Gonzalez. No one was in the group chats. Nobody could show me all the tweets and the messages of people calling out for months they want this player. So 2 complete unknowns, 1 relative unknown, and a decent attacker. I wasn't convinced that would just suddenly make them a much better team overnight. Doesn't mean it won't work in the long term. Aguero said if City win, he'll cut his balls off. Oh, sorry. He said if Madrid win, he'll cut his balls off. Don't do that, bruv. You've got a little bit of a dodgy ticker. And although you broke my heart once upon a time, Aguero, you know, you're a family man. Don't do nothing stupid, man. Don't do nothing stupid. Don't do nothing stupid. Don't like cutting your balls off, because it could end poorly. Right, we're going to bring in the panel back to have their say now on tonight's game. We've got Rack with us. We've got Elijah. We've got V coming on the show as well. It's normally a Wasp City fans. Not today. Not today. But I've shared the link as well if anyone wants to phone in and have their say. And I haven't seen Blue Viper in the comments the whole time. I think I've decided with Blue Viper that I might ban him from the Football Terrace. Do you know why? For shamelessness. I tell you why I'm going to ban Blue Viper. Because when any other member of the top 6 lose, any of those 5 teams lose, the man is here. Come rain, sleet, shine, or whatever's going on. Every time City don't win, he does a Burton. So I think we just for the weakness of him, just for the lack of alpha steel, I say we ban him. Let me now know if you want him to stay. say nothing. If you want him to go, no, you got to have something. We've got to do a poll. So put in blue fraud if you want him banned, and put in allow him. Allow him if you want him to stay. But I think we've got to make a stance on this. Should he be banned? Blue fraud or allow him? Let me know now in the comment section, because I'm just getting tired of these guys that only turn up when rivals lose and never when their team does to face the music and answer the questions. Come on now. Blue fraud is trending hard, bruv. Blue fraud is trending hard. There is one person that says allow him. The rest of them are saying ban him. Ban Blue Viper now. They want him gone. By the way, when you're all done with this stream, I want you to go check out Stocks FC. Loads of great stocks available. Some brilliant IPOs coming out this week. Plus, you get 5 free stocks when you sign up to play with. So it costs you absolutely nothing to learn how to play the game, to see whether it's right for you, something that you want to do and want to be a part of on match days. I absolutely love it. It's so much better than traditional fantasy football. You can win rewards. The share prices can go up. It's absolutely brilliant. And what we're doing at the Football Terrace up until the end of February is anyone who signs up to play will go into a prize draw to win a PlayStation 5 that we will get sent out to you. Just as we did before in the past, we did it with Xboxes back then. I'm not too sure why we picked Xboxes, but we did. But we did it with Xboxes. We gave a couple of those away. We're doing that with the PS5s now as a thank you to everybody that signs up to their free account. So it costs you no money to sign up. So scan the QR code now or at the end of the show and get yourself signed up. Time for the panel now. We've got V, we've got Rack, we've got Elijah here. And I'm going to go to V first, of course, because he's a Manchester City fan. What went wrong? What went wrong tonight? How did that collapse, that implosion happen, V?
What went wrong has been pretty consistent for the season. Look at the number of injuries that had to exit the game. Look at the player errors that happened at the final minutes of this game. It's been a rinse and repeat. It's been something that we've seen too many times, and we're seeing it. We can't afford to do it against lesser competition. We definitely can't do it versus a Real Madrid. And it cost us today. I got to challenge you a little bit when you did your monologue and you did the intro with regards to competitiveness and Pep. I was really happy with what Pep did with regards to the starting 11, to be honest with you. I looked at the opportunities. I looked at some of the crossbar missed goals that we had out there. I looked at how we were controlling the game. And, hey, when it comes down to having to lose Ake, having to lose Grealish, having to lose Akanji when we are in decent control of the game, and I predicted a 2-2 draw with regards to this, not a collapse 3-2. But yes, you can criticize Pep. You can say there's other things that he could have done to kind of mitigate or minimize these late errors. But how am I going to overly criticize him, call for him out like some of the fans have been doing in the chat?
That's crazy.
Of course. When I see Ederson kick it to Real Madrid, when I see Kova, rather than play the ball out, try and do a risky 50-50 to Rico, and then obviously he's run down on and we surrendered the third goal. So all these come into the factor. We should have controlled that game a lot better, but it's what we've been doing all season long. We have not been controlling these games, and we can't do it versus Real Madrid. Going back to the Bernabeu with a goal down is going to be damn near impossible. When I also look at the other fixtures that I got to be concerned with, because I'm looking over my shoulders now, trying to remain in top 4. So I got to go into Real, and then obviously have Newcastle, have Liverpool to deal with. So it's not looking good. I'm praying I get some good reports with regards to how long these players are out. Hopefully it's somewhat precautionary and not too long. But we were good enough for how poor we've been this season to have had a better result with that game. The players that went out, it's not an excuse, it's context. For all of you crying in the chat or saying I'm making excuses, listen to what I'm saying. The context to how we surrendered this game falls on a lot of things, and part of it is the players that we had controlling the game had to exit, and Pep trying to adjust. That's what I want to point out.
I listen. There's a few comments here. JJ says, Terry, stop this guy excuses about injuries. Madrid have more injuries than them.
No,
obviously, you go on, brother.
can I respond? So
Yeah,
I get the whole injuries. Real Madrid having more injuries than us, but look at how the game played out. I'm gonna say they were fortunate to play that game and not have players exit due to injuries. That is the context I'm giving JJ. All right. That's the context I'm giving. Yes, we all had injuries, but the players that had to exit this game due to those injuries and started for us is the difference maker, in my opinion.
My challenge to you on that is in the opening 15 minutes, they ripped you apart and could have been 2 or 3-0 up, as an example. Yeah. Before Grealish going off, yeah, he started well, but I actually thought Foden played quite well. Also, he was dangerous on that from the opposite side, as an example.
Grealish was cooking and actually was a part of the first goal.
And Grealish wasn't. I praised him for that, but I thought Foden came on and also played well from the right-hand side. From my perspective, though, you had control, and before a Kanji got injured, after you lost control again, and he was having to track back, you had a sort of 15 to 20-minute period when you went 1-0 up, where you sat in a bit of a medium block, you were nice and compact. You held on to the ball well. You kept the passing simple. You got to about the 38th minute, 39th minute, and then it all kind of fell apart again. In that period of them peppering you and pulling you from head to apart, that's when Akanji then got injured. He makes a substitution, but listen, you've got a new £60 million DM that you're all buzzing about on the bench as an example.
Keyword is new.
Yes, but you've spent £60 million on him. You praise the signing. He's someone that Pep wanted. He's a player that could have come in and helped shore things up. I think you said blaming the injuries is a little bit excessive. And on top of that, you were leading with 3 minutes to go. And what you should have been doing is being compact. What you should have been is been more concentrated. But you were still far too open. The line was too high. And I don't see how any other club in Europe.
The line too high didn't cost us either of those goals. Us not being compact didn't cost us those goals.
Why not?
Like what you're pointing out, we had possession, Terry. Ederson kicked it to Real Madrid. It had nothing to do with the high line or not being compact. The third goal, with regards to Kova, it's not because of a high line. We were still in our own end. So this is what I'm trying to point out. It had nothing to do with us not being compact or a high line. These are opportunities in the flow of the game. Real Madrid pounced on and took full advantage of. But we would have seen this game out had we played compact or not a high line. That didn't cost us. Those goals didn't come from those.
What you're talking about,
challenging that,
and that's a fair challenge. That's a fair challenge. But the goals come from the game state. The game state allows those opportunities to present themselves. So that, for me, is how I view this. And the individual mistakes, you could look at Kovacic and say, well, actually, if you were sitting a little bit deeper and more compact, he's not playing a pass that Rico Lewis has to get spot on at that point. But it's the game state. You didn't do what you have been amazing at for 8 years. By the way, before Rodri, and you should be after Rodri, killing those games out, maintaining that possession, because they're not even a possession team. But I understand the frustration you have.
I got to challenge back on that one, Terry. I've been on the football terrace with you. I've been on the football terrace with you, and you remember when Benzema and Rodrigo made the comeback and cost us in the Champions League. This isn't necessarily, we've been perfect, or sorry, I'm not going to use perfect. I'm not going to exaggerate before you accuse me of being a liar. I'm going to say that with regards to past games, we've surrendered late crumblings before, especially to this team. And I don't think it was a matter of no Rodri in, no Rodri out. That's been evident this season, but past seasons, we've surrendered, unfortunately, to the magic of this Champions League and Real Madrid. They caught us, and I'm so upset with how we played out the last 5 minutes. Absolutely. And it's been so frustrating to have to sit on the edge of my chair every damn game because we don't close games out, and we haven't been doing it. It's rinse and repeat. I'm a broken record, but we've seen this before. This is what City is this season. This is what we are this season.
And I understand that. My only challenge to it before I go to Rack is this. If there was any other team in the Premier League, whether it was in their domestic games or their European games, who were consistently not seeing games out, the manager, his system and his approach will be getting criticized. That's why I'm doing the same thing with Pep Guardiola. But I hear your challenge. Really good challenge there, V, as ever. Before I go to Hamza, Rack, what did you make of tonight?
Rack, why are you here? Why are you here, Rax?
Listen, V, I was supporting you guys. I wanted you to get rid of I wanted you to get rid of Real Madrid so that I don't have to get rid of them, or not, as the case may be. As they've knocked us out enough times. So I was here for you. I was here. I was being supportive.
I appreciate
Unfortunately, and to be up in recent years, pretty much every single time City have played Real Madrid, they've been the better team. Somehow they've contrived to go out twice out of the 3 times they've faced each other in knockout rounds. But in all 3 of those 2-legged ties, they've been the better team. Today, I think it was much more even. And you could tell that I've said it before, this City team is a shadow of its former selves. You have the same faces. They take up some of the same positions. But with the ball and without the ball especially, it's just not the same. Yeah, it's like the legs have gone, and I think the City players know as well that this team is at an end, and it also seems like the heart has gone to some extent, and this rebuild job is going to be big. They had opportunities, but so did Real Madrid, especially at the start of the game. As soon as you saw Real Madrid smelling blood at the start of the game, you thought, "Damn, City are going to be in trouble here." But to their credit, they fought themselves back into the game, took the lead twice, and then just capitulated. And we're not used to seeing this from City, and but I think this type of performance, not just for this season, I think it's going to be difficult for Pep to turn this around. I don't want to write his obituary just yet, but I don't think this is a one-season rebuild.
Yeah, you could say it's a bad season. This could be our level for the season, absolutely.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that I'm not sure from this point whether you can get back to anywhere near your level even next season, because I think there's a lot of surgery that needs to be done to this team. Obviously, Rodri's not there. You've brought some players in. We don't know where they're gonna sit. I think City's recruitment in recent seasons has been questionable. Overall, their recruitment has been good, but I think a lot more of that good recruitment came earlier on in Pep's reign. A lot of the young players you brought in, of course, the young players, they're going to take time. There's question marks over them. I'm not sure where City go from here, because I think there's a chance they could get absolutely spanked in Madrid. I don't know. I'm not even sure. Maybe I'm going too far. I'm not even sure they get top 4. I looked at those fixtures you read out, Terry. Those 7 games. I see them beating Plymouth. Everything else is up for grabs.
No, yeah. Sorry, go on, V. It's your team.
Yeah, I was going to say this is where Pep's got to earn the big bucks. This is where Pep's going to have to see out this season, because we definitely need to remain in the top 4. I think it's key. I think it's important. Is it the end of the world? No. We've seen Liverpool play in Europa a couple seasons ago and bounce back, right? We've seen them have to reinvest. So is it possible for us to get back to it? We've got a manager that committed for another 2 years when a lot were questioning whether it was going to be a 1 year or he was going to be leaving. He's committed to 2. He didn't say he was tired. He didn't say he was going to leave the game. He will be back. So we'll see moving forward. This year, it's top 4. If it's an FA Cup, thank goodness. But we've been so damaged. We've been so inconsistent, and I get it. Rivals, you got to take your shots. This is the time to actually pounce. This is when you actually want to win the league. This is when you want to actually be top 4, when you see a city like this. So all the clubs that have been waiting in the wins, this is now to do it. And we've seen past years, no shot racks, but we've seen whenever City slips, Liverpool are right there. So they're taking full advantage.
How confident are you that you're going to get Champions League football next season? Like, for me, there should be quite a large question mark.
No, it absolutely is, because it's remaining in top 4. There's a chance it may be top 5, but Champions League is absolutely a must. And again, before you guys in the chat, before you guys are all saying this guy keeps crying about injuries, that's what I'm looking at, though. I just want us to get through this season with whoever's available. I don't care what bodies are there. Get us to top 4. That fixture list is mad. Get us to top 4. FA Cups bonus, and we move.
Can I ask a question of you, Rack? Before I go to Hamza, I'm going to speak to Elijah. I can see James and Shiv backstage as well. I've seen you. I will get you on as well, gentlemen. I believe in the football gods. Do you think this, now looking with hindsight, was a little bit ill-advised? Should they not have done this banner tonight, in your opinion, now, Rack?
I'm not I'm not a football God-fearing man, so I would say, I can understand why they wanted to give it to Madrid and to Vinny. I think a lot of Madrid like to portray themselves as a classy club. I think the way they handled that whole kind of Ballon d'Or loss thing was just a bit
Yeah.
pathetic, really. And
Yeah.
it's football. It's we like the banter, right? I don't think it was a great banner, to be honest.
What?
And maybe they could. No, but I appreciate the objective. I'm just not sure whether it hit the spot. But
So let me this is me. This is me with regards to like some event planning and when you put things together. I would have had that in the chamber. I would have had that banner ready to release, ready to put out there when the game was pretty much in control. Don't give them any ammunition. Don't give them any more motivation. Keep that banner, and then when it's like the 85th minute, we're 2-1 or we're 3-2, whatever it happens to be, then reveal it, right? But
you couldn't reveal it if you were losing, right? If you lost that game and you put it down, everyone would laugh at you. That would be even worse.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Like, I'm obviously playing a little bit, but I do believe in the football gods. I'm a football gods fearing man. So I like that expression. I'm actually going to steal it back because I think it holds a bit of truth. Hamza, my brother from another mother. There's a lot to talk about in this game tonight, but it's another match where you've got to the final few minutes and you're leading. You had the 3-3 draw with final. There's Manchester United tonight where you've absolutely thrown it away, imploded and bottled it. Why did it go so horribly wrong tonight for your team, Hamza?
I think I'm lost for words. I don't know what to say. I'm just gonna say, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. First in Kenya. I'm in Kenya, so 1:43.
Dedication.
These guys they bottled it. I'm not like you guys that sit down there. You sit on these channels and you come and talk about all tactics and all that, bro. Football is simple. You kick the ball in there, you win or you lose. What are we doing here? You win or you lose. We bottled it. It's a common problem. This year, it's come to bite Pep. I was walking in Kenya, and one person asked me, a lady asked me, what's happened to City this year? I said, what do you think? She said, Pep thought that he would work with the same squad for 4 years and continue, and you think these guys are going to still give the same level? These people are human beings. I said, if a guy in Kenya who's on the street thinks like that, and we got our structure there, they should have known this rebuild should have come somewhere. Because of that, they're paying a huge price. It doesn't matter who you are in football. It doesn't matter who you are. Yeah? I said it to you, Terry, for how many times I've come here and we've argued, but now you're tilting towards my side. When I told you last year, this shitty little small squad is one of the biggest dangers in sports. Me, I don't sit here doing tactics.
You knocked a drink over. You're right.
I bottled it there.
Yeah. No, I want to say this to you. Me and you agree to a large extent. Where me and you fought on this, and it sounds like you're coming around to my side of thinking, is your manager wants a small squad. He's built this. He has asked for this. He has put this together. He is stuck by certain players. Me and you have only really argued, Hamza, on the fact that what you've never done, and by the way, I don't think this is 100% on Pep. It never is. But it's the fact that you always wanted to moan about these things, but never put any of it upon your manager. Now you're saying your bottle jobs, which means you've lost your edge in your mentality. That's a managerial issue. You've put a squad together that isn't good enough and is too small. Part of that is Pep's doing, because Pep has got the power to challenge now. He's not a new fledgling manager who's just walked in. Now, again, sporting directors and the people that run your club have allowed that to happen as well, made mistakes. Me and you have only ever really argued on the fact that you'll moan about loads of things. It could be, oh, we made terrible subs today. And it's like, yeah, Pep didn't get it right. Well, it ain't Pep's fault. You moan about things that are literally on the manager. And then when we mention Pep, you defend him. That's all we argue about. Level.
No.
But I want to ask you about the bottling. Why have you become so fragile as a team mentally, in your opinion?
I think you have to look at this, and this is very clever, because a lot of these people come here on YouTube and they think they're educating people. Football is simple, mate. Yeah. Bro, how come? Question this. Ask yourself this. These people have won 4 in a row. Within a year, how can they win 4 in a row and start losing leads to Feyenoord and 1-0 up against Sporting, 4-1? Arsenal. Arsenal won. You're drawing with Arsenal. They thump you 5. This Arsenal shittest team that got knocked out with 10 men, Man United in the FA Cup, that got knocked out to Newcastle 2-0. People say, oh, Arsenal. Why? You have to ask yourself, Feyenoord, Sporting, Tottenham 4-0. Terry, if you ask me, what was your worst result this season? I'm thinking, yo, I've been to next level. Like, I need therapy because I focus on thinking, yo, even today, I thought I can't take this anymore, because these guys, Vator, now you have to go back to the squad and say, who's good enough? Who's still got the same hunger? Which player still wants to stay? Have they won too much? Is it for some of them time to leave? And you have to make those harsh decisions, because great organization make those decisions early. Pep was arrogant enough. We know Pep was arrogant and great. There's never a team in history has ever won 4 in a row since 1890s when football started. True. Fergie did 3 in a row, but Fergie was humbled and he knew the 4th one's hard. These are the great managers. Yeah. But you know what they did? They went and got extra players and keep refreshing the squad. We got old team, fatigued team. I don't know whether it's mentally, they've just won too much, so it doesn't hit the nerve, because this Madrid team 2 years ago, we would have rattled them 6-0, 5-0. We were all over them.
They would have parked the bus versus us. That's how poor they are. They actually played us head to head. Past seasons, they parked the bus.
We are so bad that, Terry, this summer, they need to go to the drawing boards and make difficult decisions. The decision like, does KDB stay? Do you keep players who are injury prone? Although they're great legends, you have to leave emotions aside. Yeah. Have I got players in midfield that I can rely on? Is Kovacic a starter or a bench player? I believe he's a bench player. You need to go and get physicality in midfield. We don't have the physicality, Terry. Terry, we get bullied. Terry, it's like a remote. Man, I can blow on this midfielder. Midfielders supposed to be fighters. You know, you said Roy Keane, Kante. Fighters.
And this is the thing, and that's why I'd be worried about your new central midfielder. He got pushed over by a League One player and then came off pretending to be injured.
No, that can happen. That can happen. But that can happen. That's allowed. It's the fighting spirit. Terry. When you're seeing Bellingham, I'm sorry, Rico, I'm not going to dunk on Rico Lewis. Edison made 2 crucial mistakes, and he gets protected. That's not good enough. Yeah. If your mind is somewhere else, you have to.
He was having a good game before that. Not so upset.
But the problem is, great keepers have a good game 90 minutes.
Yeah, facts.
You don't protect that. He cost us today. Yeah. Our right back, Akanji, can't stay fit. You have to think about Akanji. Then you have to look about Ake and Stones. Are you going to keep them next season? Stones on $250 a week. Are you going to keep a player who's on $250 a week next year that's playing 10 games a season? He's incredible, yes, but you have to make those shrewd decisions, because they can cost you towards the end, and it's costing us. We're out of the Champions League, yeah, FA Cup. Listen, just get me the top 4. What a shameless human being I am going to be. I never thought I'd ever
No,
say
no,
top
don't
four.
do that,
Yeah.
Professor. Don't do that.
Bro,
There's-
I don't look at top four, bro. I don't do this, Vator. I swear to God.
But you do. And what you need
I
to
don't.
remember is this is why bantering people that want to get into the top four bites you in the ass. The reason that you as City fans should want top four. Hang on. Hang on. No. You should. Don't worry about bantering and what Arsenal fans might say online. You want top four because you're going to invest in the summer, and you could have a good preseason. You could buy 4 or 5 players, get Rodri back, have a good preseason, and you could be good enough to win the Champions League next year. Therefore, why would you not celebrate making the top four and being in a tournament you can win? That's why I've never understood people that go, you should never celebrate being in the top four. That's like saying Liverpool shouldn't have been happy to have been in it last year. Now they can win it a year later. It's the most ridiculous notion I've ever heard in my life. It's literally for Twitter banter, and it's crazy. It's fucking mental. Radio rental, mate.
Man City is too big for this top four thing. Pep Guardiola is too big for this top four thing. I'm not being arrogant.
The thing is, if you don't get top four, I know City haven't spent a lot of money in recent seasons, but obviously they've spent like 200 million or 150 million, whatever it is, this window. The Champions League money for next season, you're looking at probably another 100 million quid. If City don't get top four, in terms of the rebuild, I already said that the rebuild I don't think is a simple rebuild. I think that these major surgery needs to be done. If you don't have that extra 100 million Champions League revenue, I think City still have pull because there's Pep there, there's other great players, but that 100 million makes a difference to how much money you can spend, I think.
Yeah. And again, I understand where Professor's coming from with regards to how he sees things, but I myself, when I've seen the mighty United, when I've seen Liverpool fall out of top four and scramble to try to get back into it, who am I to say I don't want to maintain my top four? They've had to fight into it. I want to keep it and then keep it rolling because it could be 1 year out of not challenging for the majors, and we reinvest and we go to it. All right, that's it.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And you heard from Man City what they said today, a couple of weeks ago. They said they thought the rebuild was the summer. They asked Pep, should we rebuild? He thought, let me get the best out of these players again and drain them out. Sometimes
you went to the well one too many times, Professor.
There's nothing to come out. You've drained it out. There's no water. You've squashed it, bro.
I gotta drop.
Cheers, bro. Hamza has brought props. I love it. Hamza, I'll come back to you in a minute, and I'll speak to James and Elijah in a second. But Will, an interesting game tonight. 3 minutes to go, you'd lost, and then Real Madrid walk out with a W. Break it down for us, mate.
Stressful. Like every game has been this season. We're not that good, to be honest. You've heard me say this since like the start of the season. We're a team. We don't have a style of play. It's just a bunch of individual brilliance, and it was annoying because I thought that today we should have been able to beat Man City more comfortably, right? Not have to rely on their goalkeeper making a big mistake like that, but. You know, it is what it is. I'll take it. Definitely. It was a bad performance from us. I think that we were very wasteful, right? I think City are lucky. Like Jude missed. You also had that Mbappe chance as well. Mendy in the first half, he didn't take his shot when he should have. But, like, to be honest, it's okay. You guys get the dub. I'm annoyed that I'm even in this playoff format. I'm annoyed that I'm playing Man City again. And it's actually something that I think, as a whole, we could only blame ourselves. Like, we just been trash for this entire UCL campaign. But I'll take it. First time that we beat Man City at the Etihad across 90 minutes without having to go to like penalties or anything like that, because we did that last season. But I'm just still not that happy, to be honest.
Yeah, I can understand. I was saying at the top of the show that I think that the win obviously is massive. You won it right at the death. But I felt like Ancelotti especially would have been very, very frustrated with your front three today, who I thought were quite wasteful.
He's frustrated with himself, Terry. He's not a good manager anymore. Anybody that's watching this that needs a manager, sign Carlo Ancelotti. He's washed. He needs to be, bro. Like, the thing is, we have no tactics. I have no idea what I'm going to see week in, week out. Like, it's crazy, bro. He doesn't make a sub until the 80th minute. We've been chasing the ball for 90% of the game. And he's not making no subs. He never does. And then when he does decide to make subs, it's the same two things. The only positive to take away from this game is that Raul Asensio, right, the kid from our academy, is a monster. I think that he had a big game today. Also, the penalty was not a pen. Was not a pen. Phil Foden was fouled outside the box when the contact was initially made. They don't go to VAR. They don't check it. It's okay. And I also think that it's also a big dub that nobody got a yellow card. So it means that nobody's going to be suspended for the second leg. But I'm just annoyed that I'm here, to be honest with you. It's like, because now next round, right? Now, I think that we're going to go through. I don't see Man City coming to the Bernabeu and beating us. They're down 3-2. I think the pressure is going to be too much for them and they're going to crumble. But if you want to just look at a futuristic output, so I have to play Man City right now to then get the privilege to go face either Atleti or Bayer Leverkusen. It's just annoying. So, I'm happy with the win though, but I'm just annoyed by the performance. Like, that's my thing.
No, and I can understand that take. I really do. I thought that you guys were so wasteful. And when it went 2-1 off the pen, I just thought, oh wow, they're going to really rue those missed chances. But this is Man City, and they gave you 2 really good opportunities in the last 3 or 4 minutes, and that's the one. Crazily to say it, because you wouldn't ever have said it years ago. It's a great thing about playing Man City now, is that they almost guarantee you those opportunities. Elijah, obviously been waiting a while. What do you want to say, mate?
Yeah, listen, Terry, I feel like that was a really good game, to be honest with you. But Man City, like, they were terrible. Like, you got 8 minutes to go, and they decide to bowl it at the end. Like, it was a joke. And I agree with Hamza. Like, Ederson cost Man City the win, because if you look at the second goal, his distribution was terrible. Straight to Jude Bellingham. Vinicius Jr. had a shot, which was saved, but then Brahim Diaz took a shot. No City player was marking him. It was 2-2. And then for the third goal, I mean, terrible from Kovacic. And then Ederson did the most stupid thing and being off his line. He done what Robert Sanchez did when we lost 3-1 to them. And I'm like, you're 2-1 up. Like, just try and hold on. Don't make stupid errors, because you really want to go to the Bernabeu with a win, but they absolutely bottled it. And I agree with you. I don't think Real Madrid were that great, but they've won. I feel like Real Madrid should have scored more, because Mbappe had the chance, Jude Bellingham, Mendy in the first half, and there was a time where I feel like Vinicius Jr. got fouled by Ederson, but he was correctly offside. And I have to tell you, I feel like that was a penalty, because I feel like the challenge was just about inside the penalty area. So I feel like for me, that's a penalty. But listen, I know that Vator was using an excuse for injuries, but it was 1-1. Like, if you would have won this game, I don't think you use injury as an excuse, because Real Madrid has also injuries, but Carlo Ancelotti has that mentality, because he has won the Champions League with Real Madrid, and he wants to do that again, if you know what I mean. So I think Man City right now, they need to sort this out, because I looked at the next 7 games. They are home to Newcastle. They are home to Liverpool. They'll be facing some really tough teams, Terry, and also Tottenham away. So I believe if Man City don't get the Champions League, I feel like the pressure will be on Pep. I don't think he will go, because Pep is a really good manager, but Man City have to make the top 4 this season. Otherwise, the fans will not be happy, and Pep will be under pressure. But do I think that Man City will go out? Unfortunately so, because, last season, they've lost to them at the Bernabeu, and losing 3-2 like that is going to be difficult for Man City, but they have to sort themselves out. But Jack Grealish got injured, Nathan Ake got injured. So what's the solution for Man City? I'm not quite sure, but I feel like, yeah, Real Madrid, they've won. Man City, they absolutely bottled it. They really did.
No, they certainly bottled it tonight. You're absolutely right about that, mate. James is with us. What are you here to say, James?
Bye, Terry. I've got to go.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Hello, Terry. Yeah. Thank you for bringing me here. Today I watched this City game, and I was just laughing, actually, because I'm so surprised to see so many City fans, coming on here and not having the balls to criticize their manager. Pep won four trophies last season. Do the quadruple with this same team. You cannot tell me just because Rodri is out, that is the that's the end of City. They just spent 200 million in January transfer window, 200 million, you know, and they just spend all that and to still get this crap out, you know. And Hamza is coming here. You are saying,
What do you think the problem is?
Hamza, stop. Hamza, don't interrupt me. You are coming here saying Kovacic is done, De Bruyne is done. But these people just won you the quadruple last season. They won you these trophies. So you should have the cause to criticize Pep. And that's the problem you City fans have.
Let James speak.
That's the problem you City fans have. You don't have the balls to say, Pep, you are doing it wrong. Pep was the one who set those players out in the field today. You know, when they were leading 2-1, they can decide to not attack. They can just do some dark art, to just see out the game. They cannot see a game out even if they are leading 3-1. If City was leading 3-1 today, I know Madrid is still going to win. I was still having the hope that Madrid is still going to win because in the first 10 minutes, Mbappe meets a sitter. It was 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. He missed it. He just played to what is his name, Ederson. The second in the last stage of the second half, he also played the ball. They just gave him a free sitter. He was close to the goalkeeper and he just skyrocketed. It should have been worse than this. You should be thankful that it's just 3-2. Today I was supporting Madrid. I'm a Ghana, I'm calling from New York, but today I was supporting Madrid because I know you guys are shit. You have to have the balls. Just have the balls to criticize your manager. I think every good thing has expiration date. I don't think Pep is that Pep that everybody is seeing in the past. I think what is it called? His confidence has been dented so much this season. Pep is even thinking, why did I even sign that? Why did I even extend my contract? He must be thinking, why did I extend that contract?
Listen, I hear where you're coming from, James.
Can I answer a question?
Go on, Hamza. Have a little response, mate. Go on.
Okay. This is the problem with these fraud fans who've never won a league title in 20 years.
Talk to me, I'm listening.
Give me an advice on they've not won a UCL in their history, not even a Europa League. See, he's taken himself off the screen because he knows that. I will never ever accept. That's what I'm shameless, yeah? But I will never accept a Champions League advice from that guy. I will never. Trust me. I will never in my eyes. I'll listen to Terry. I'll listen to Madrid fans. I'll listen to anyone. But Arsenal fans are not giving me advice about Champions League. Yeah, take your own advice because your advice didn't lead to anywhere, and you're gonna get knocked out.
You just won it once. You just won it the first time. After many years,
Terry,
you spent billions to win your first Champions League. Billions of pounds to win your first Champions League.
Your players leave you to win a Champions League. A Pep.
But you just won it once. Do you know how much you spent to win your first Champions League?
One second. So don't talk about Champions League. You don't even know how to spell Champions League.
You know how much you spent to win your Champions League, Hamza?
So humble yourself as Arsenal fans, frauds. Yeah? They got beaten 10-2 and they're coming to tell me about Champions League. Terry.
Where were Man City before 1990? Before 2000, where were you?
Yeah, Galatasaray beat 99. Galatasaray beat you in Europe, in UEFA Cup.
Where were you? Where were you before the Arab money came?
Guys, we can have this argument forever. I want to speak to Chev for a second. Chev, what are you saying, mate?
Let me answer that question. Let me answer this question.
I'll come back to you in a second, Hamza. Chev, what are you saying, bro?
Yeah, we'll talk just now, Hamza. How you doing? Let's get the likes up. Make sure we do that. Big up the Football Terrace, of course, every time. Fellow Gunner as well, just like James over there. I don't really think James was talking about the Champions League specifically. Like, Pep is just showing like when he's missing these key pieces, this is what happens, right? I guess it's also the fall off of winning 4 in a row. Like, he gets praised so much, so of course he does deserve criticism. But today he put out a team that should go win, and they were winning. But it shows they're not there defensively, and that's been a thing the whole season. Like, when I see them celebrate like going 1-0 up, especially from the Tottenham game, every time they go 1-0 up, they're celebrating like they won the game. And I don't get it because, well, maybe at the start, yeah, but up to now, it leads to nothing for them. Them bottling leads 2 away at Brentford and the 3-3 at Feyenoord. So Pep does deserve criticism. But I think the team today, he did the right thing by not starting Marmoush, starting the experienced players. I think he showed Real Madrid respect that way, which I thought that he didn't do when he came to the Emirates by starting someone like Marmoush, just inexperienced, you know. And I think that it didn't look like Madrid was going to win the game. It looked like it was going to be a draw at 1-1. But you would say if any team were to win the game, it was going to be Madrid. I mean, they don't have centre backs. What are we saying here? They beat them, and City are just missing a CDM. I think it's funny how Mbappe did the ball came off his shin.
Yeah,
and Kovacic messed it up as well.
Yeah, out of all the shots that went in, from all the shots from Mbappe tonight, the one that went in is the one he hit the worst.
He hit that perfectly. Like that was hit exactly how it needed to be. Ended up in the back of the net. He hit that. He hit that exactly how it was supposed to.
The one thing I learned about Madrid today is that even when they seem to mess up on the touch or on the ball, they seem to do some extra thing that just like gets them there. Like, the Vinicius Junior offside, like how he messed up so badly with those touches, but he still managed to draw it into a penalty. If he was onside, it would be given as a pen.
It's because the standard of football, the individual footballers at Real Madrid are very, very high.
It's so good.
Let me answer the question. The other thing we forgot to say, Madrid, that goal was a lucky goal. Yeah.
Which one?
Lucky. No, 1 second. The one he hit in the shin. Even he said he did this. 1 second. We had four crossbars. We hit crossbars 4 times. City had 4 crossbars. It could have gone in. Sometimes it's not made your day, but the answer, this is the problem that you guys don't understand. How come a team that's done 4 in a row, that's never been done in history of football, never been done?
Who hit the crossbar? You hit the crossbar 4 times.
No, 1 second. No,
I know that Haaland hit the post.
1 second.
Akanji.
1 second. It's never been done in history of football. 1 year later, capitulate. It's because of one thing. It's basics. It comes back to basics. It comes back. It's not the hunger. It could be the hunger. No. These players are fatigued to exhaust. You've used, and I'm telling you now, have you worked in a profession where you've never taken annual leave? You're exhausted, mental and physically exhaustion. You have to look up. It doesn't matter how young you are. Players need a rest.
So Hamza, I agree with that. So my question to you is, how angry? Hang on, Hamza. Let me just ask Hamza a question though. How angry are you then at your club and your manager for? Hang on, let me finish the question. Then how angry are you at your club and your manager for putting you into the World Club Championships this summer, which means no rest and no preseason? Based on your logic at how bad it is that there's no rest, how annoyed are you at your owners and at your manager for entering that competition?
This is what I look at. I look at this because I called in the summer. I was told by my fellow fans I'm arrogant. How do I know better than Pep? And what makes you know everything? And I said, listen, to me, our players, I'm very upset about this, very upset. And I keep going back to the same discussion whenever we have discussion with them. And LB agrees with me. Big Steve agrees with me. But some City fans don't agree with me. What they say is, Pep knew that the rebuild was going to be last summer. But it was Pep's fault. Let's say it was definitely Pep's fault. When you let go of Alvarez for 95 million and you don't get a backup, when you know that Rodri's been crying out for a DM and said, I'm tired, I'm physically tired, and you don't, and then you only sign Gundogan as an opportunistic signing. Listen to the word I've used. You've only come to sign Gundogan because Barca got rid of him.
No, listen.
One second. And let me finish the last statement. And I've always said this, and I'm not arrogant on this. When you win the treble and you go and shop at Aldi, and you shop at Aldi with yellow stickers, things expiring, you go and get Matthias Nunes, you go and get Calvin Phillips, and then people say, oh, he was so brilliant at Leeds. Oh my God, he was so nice. Bro, Manchester City and Madrid and Bayern Munich, there's different levels. Look at that Fulham midfielder. Who's that Fulham midfielder? That was absolutely amazing. Look at him at Bayern Munich. Yeah, look at him at Bayern Munich. There's different standards when you go to different clubs. When City lost Gundogan, they went and got Matthias Nunes. They never got it wrong.
I understand where you're coming from. Will, what was going to be your point to what about the fatigue stuff, Will?
Yeah, no, I think that's nonsense. Like these are multimillionaires, right? They have some of the best facilities to rest, right? They're on like diet plans. They see like the best nutritionists. They sleep in the best hotels. They have the best beds. Bro, that's not an excuse to say, oh, well, these players are tired. Like, bro, like, no, they're not. Like, I'm not saying that they can't be, but the thing is, I think for you to say that that's the reason why you guys have fallen off so much this season is crazy. I think that your manager is just not necessarily prioritized rebuilding at a right time, right? I think, yeah, some of the players are just not as good as they used to be. I don't think it's a fatigue thing. I think it's just you guys chose to rebuild too late. And now you guys are kind of seeing the effects of not getting in new players to freshen up the system. But to use excuses like tired or like injuries, because we have a bunch of injuries. So then I guess like and like every team has injuries. So then everybody can say, oh, we're tired, we're injured. Go ahead.
I understand. But do you watch Man City? Do you sit down every game to watch Man City?
We all watch Man City.
The biggest problem is this is inside, from inside. The issue is the players are not playing. They're playing with recurring injuries. They're playing with growing injuries, tear in their groin. It's impossible to play that. You can inject as much steroids or anesthetic there. The players are still going to be in pain. Players are playing with pain injection. We've got 3 or 4 players who are playing with pain. Akanji, where John Stone net fully fit. Ake has been injured most of the season. Diaz has just come today. We had to sign 2 young defenders. We play in the most physical game. You think I play Las Palmas and Cadiz and Huesca where people are not tackling? You're playing
better league than the Prem. You do realize this, right?
There's physicality in this league. There's a reason why players in this league get tired and they retire at 31, 30 because their knees are gone. Physically, they've had it enough. Look at Saka now. Look at Saka, 23, 24 years old. He's been run down. He's had hamstring tear. He's had to have major surgery at the age of 23. Why? You're overusing the player. It's simple. It's sports medicine. One of the biggest causes of injuries is overuse. It's well known. So either you know, or the theory of sport medicine that's been studied by years, and if you research this, the fatigue causes injury is a problem. It's a fact.
No, but we weren't talking about injuries. You were talking about why you guys were in poor form.
Listen. I would take fatigue centre backs over no centre backs at all. That's what Madrid had, no centre backs. You had tired centre backs, and you want to be like, our centre backs were tired. Like, they still beat you at your own house as well. So, like, what? 100%. It means nothing.
I think the issue is, I think there's an element of truth to sometimes players can get a bit bloated on success, and if they start losing, or do we pick ourselves up and keep going? However, the problem is when you do some of the excuses that you're doing, Hamza, is you're forgetting that most other teams are in the same space as you. And a lot of the top teams are playing similar amounts of games, have similar traveling in pre-season, similar days to rest. And they're not looking like Madrid have got injury problems, but they didn't look tired tonight. How are they able to keep winning leagues and Champions Leagues every year and not look tired at the same time? I think there's an element of some of your players giving up, but I don't necessarily think it's. And what's happening is they're being given the excuse. You're tired. It's okay. It doesn't matter. And when you plant that seed, I think it creates. I think it creates a little bit of a problem. But if you cannot feel tired. If people around you start yawning and stretching, suddenly you start yawning and stretching and feeling tired. There's an element of that here, and I think City fans, rightly or wrongly, it's up to you. I'm not judging it. I think you've planted a lot of excuses into the mindset of these players.
No, I think it's not. I think the biggest factor is, I said it, in the Euros, City sent most players compared to any other team. In the World Cup, they did the same, and they have the small squad. All your 15, 16 players that start for you. They keep going and playing for the national teams.
Your squad, listen, your squad is the same size as most other people's. You haven't got a 15-man squad. If your manager's not using enough of your players, that's a managerial problem. That is not that you're not going to come out with it. We've got a small squad compared to everybody else. But you cannot lie and say, "Oh, we've only got 15 players compared to everyone else." That is not true.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes
too, Terry. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. So, sometimes they have a 15-man squad. Sometimes they have the best squad. But like
3 goalkeepers, benches.
Listen. In the end, like City look at the third goal. They're rushing it. if you're saying they're tired, but they're rushing those choices, Edison to run out over there. Like, you don't need to do that. Kovacic to rush that pass. Like, they're just doing things too quickly and they're being too excited. And like, that's causing them to lose these leads and do these things. I mean, it's going to be long in the reverse fixture. So
no, I agree. Super chat here says, Ter, thanks for having me on. I'll join next time as well. Legend, mate. Thank you for coming on. Everyone who pronounces it's who?
Ancelotti.
Oh, Ancelotti. It shouldn't be talking football.
Oh, Ancelotti.
But you got accents in there as well, bro. Do you know what's really funny, right? Because I'm English and my name's Terry. But like,
I'm from South Africa.
People, this is what I find really interesting. Like English people, we get a lot of abuse if we don't say names like with people's like with someone's correct dialect. But yet no one ever says my name how people from East London say it, and they don't hear me moaning. Like you three will all say Terry, different to how I say it. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of weird that people get angry about accents. I find it very strange in 2025. I don't believe in the football gods, but karma. Yeah, that's what the football gods are, really. So there we go. Look, I want to say a big thank you to everyone who's tuned into the show tonight. I want to shout out I Am Me. He gifted 50 memberships to lucky viewers tonight. So I want to say a big thank you to him for gifting those memberships. Big shout out to Stocks FC. If you want to go and sign up to your free account, get it done now. You'll get your 5 free stocks for you to start playing the fantasy game with. It's amazing. And everybody that signs up to a brand new account between now and the end of February goes into the prize draw to win a brand new PlayStation 5. So scan the QR code or click on the link in the description below. Until next time, everybody, look after yourselves. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again soon.